Captain Lee Daeho walked slowly through the massive corridors of Nexus Prime. The alien space station stretched for hundreds of kilometers in all directions. Strange creatures moved past him, their forms unlike anything humans had seen before making contact with the galaxy. Some looked like giant insects with crystal wings. Others floated through the air like living clouds of colored gas. A few resembled walking trees with eyes that glowed in the darkness. Behind him, Commander Park Ji-hai carried a data tablet and watched everything with careful eyes. She had studied alien politics for 20 years, learning their languages and customs. Her job was to understand how different species thought and what they might do next. The two humans wore their best uniforms. The blue fabric showed signs of long service in space, but every button was polished and every crease was sharp. They represented all of humanity at this meeting, and they wanted to look dignified even though they felt very small in this place. They reached the council chamber. The room was enormous, with a dome that seemed to touch the stars. Seats were arranged in a circle, each one designed for a different type of alien body. Some seats held pools of liquid for water-breathing creatures. Others had special gravity fields for beings that could not stand on solid surfaces. In the center sat Counselor Vexithari of the Saurian Empire. He looked like a giant lizard that walked on two legs. His scales were dark green with golden patterns that showed his high rank. When he moved, muscles rippled under his armored skin, his yellow eyes fixed on the humans with obvious contempt. Next to him floated Ambassador Krindal from the Luminary Collective. The being was made of pure energy, glowing with soft blue light that pulsed like a heartbeat. When it spoke, its voice sounded like wind blowing through metal pipes. Other council members filled the remaining seats. A creature covered in gray fur with 4 arms represented the Ursine Confederation. A being that looked like living crystal spoke for the Silicon Assembly. A floating jellyfish with tentacles that sparked with electricity came from the Deep Ocean Alliance. All of them looked at the two humans with expressions that seemed amused. They were like adults watching children play at being important. "Human," Vexthari said, pointing one clawed finger at Captain Lee. "You will listen to our decision about your species." Lee Daeho stood straight and kept his face calm. Inside, his heart was beating fast. This meeting would decide whether humanity lived free or died completely. "For 300 years, your species has traveled among the stars," Vexithari continued. His voice was deep and threatening. "You are young. You are weak. You have accomplished nothing of importance." The other council members made sounds of agreement. Some clicked their claws or tentacles. Others hummed at frequencies that made the humans' ears hurt. They all seemed to agree that humanity was not worth considering as equals. "Look at your achievements," said the 4-armed Ursine representative. "Your largest ships are smaller than our cargo vessels. Your weapons are simple projectiles made of metal. Your technology is hundreds of years behind our most basic tools." Ambassador Krindal pulsed brighter as it spoke. "The Luminary Collective has existed for 50,000 years. We have moved stars to new positions and built worlds from cosmic dust. We have mastered the fundamental forces that hold reality together. What have humans done that compares to this?" Captain Lee wanted to answer, but Vexithari raised his hand for silence. The gesture was casual but carried the weight of absolute authority. "We have studied other young species," the Saurian continued. "Some showed promise early in their development. They built monuments that touched the sky. They developed technologies that bent the laws of physics. They proved they deserved to join the galactic community as equals." He paused and looked directly at the humans. "Your species has done none of these things. Your colonies are small and poorly defended. Your military has never fought against a real threat. Your science is primitive compared to what we achieved thousands of years ago." Commander Park shifted slightly behind Captain Lee. She was taking mental notes of everything being said. This information would be crucial for Earth's leaders to understand what they were facing. "Therefore," Vexthari announced with obvious satisfaction, "the Galactic Council has reached a unanimous decision. Humanity will become a client species under the protection and guidance of the Saurian Empire." The words hit Lee Daeho like a physical blow. Client species were essentially slaves. They had no right to make their own decisions. Everything they did would be controlled by their alien masters. Their people would work in whatever jobs the Saurians assigned. Their colonies would produce resources for the Empire. Their children would be educated to serve alien interests. The alternative, Vexthari continued with a cruel smile showing sharp teeth, is complete extermination. Our fleets will reduce every human world to burning ashes. Your species will be erased from the galaxy forever, leaving no trace that you ever existed." Several council members laughed at this. The sounds they made were alien and disturbing, like nothing human ears were meant to hear. Captain Lee finally found his voice. "What evidence do you have that humanity is as weak as you claim?" More laughter echoed through the chamber, the crystal being made a sound like breaking glass. The floating jellyfish flashed different colors rapidly. "Evidence?" Vexithari stood up to his full height of nearly 3 meters. "Your largest warship mass is less than our smallest patrol craft. Your most powerful weapons could not penetrate our basic armor. Your colonies have defensive systems that a single one of our destroyers could overcome in minutes." The 4-armed Ursine leaned forward. "We have studied your military records, human. Every battle your species has fought was against pirates using outdated equipment or rebels with improvised weapons. You have never faced a real military force with modern technology." Ambassador Krindal floated closer to the humans. "The Luminari possess sensors that can detect every ship in the galaxy. We see no hidden fleets, no secret weapons, no advanced technology beyond what you have already shown us." Lee Daeho kept his expression neutral, but inside he was thinking about things these aliens could never imagine. If only they knew what humanity had been hiding for thousands of years. If only they understood the true history of their galaxy. "You have 72 of your Earth hours to respond," Vexithari declared. "Return here with your answer. Submit to Saurian rule and live as servants, or refuse and die as enemies. I need time to contact Earth and discuss this with our government," Captain Lee said carefully. The alien council members looked at each other and made various sounds in their own languages. Finally, Vexithari nodded with obvious amusement. "Very well. 72 hours. But do not waste time hoping for rescue. Your species has no hidden strengths, no secret allies, no ancient weapons. Accept your fate with dignity." Lee Daeho bowed slightly. "Thank you for your consideration." As the 2 humans left the chamber, aliens throughout the station watched them go. Some looked amused by the spectacle. Others seemed bored. None appeared worried about what 2 representatives of a primitive species might do. Once they reached a private corridor leading to their ship, Commander Park spoke quietly. "Should I send the standard diplomatic message to Earth, Captain?" Lee Daeho was silent for a long moment. They walked past viewing windows that showed the vast emptiness of space. Somewhere out there, alien fleets were probably already moving into position to destroy humanity. He stopped walking and looked at his old friend and colleague. In all his years of service, he had hoped never to speak the words he was about to say. "No, Jihai, send a different message. Use the emergency quantum channel." Park Jihai's eyes widened. "Which authorization code, sir?" Lee Daeho's face was grim as he spoke words that would change the galaxy forever. "Protocol 7. Tell them the masquerade is over. Tell them to initiate Revelation Protocol immediately." As they boarded their diplomatic vessel, Commander Park composed the most important message in galactic history. She used codes that had not been activated for thousands of years. Codes that would wake up things the current galaxy had forgotten ever existed. The message traveled faster than light toward Earth, but it also went to other destinations, hidden places, secret installations that had been sleeping for a very long time. The alien council members celebrated their easy victory, unaware that everything they thought they knew about the galaxy was about to change forever. Admiral Kim Soo-jin stood 3 kilometers beneath the Pacific Ocean in a chamber carved from solid bedrock. Ancient machines hummed quietly in the darkness, their purpose known only to a handful of humans. The room held secrets older than most alien civilizations, protected by layers of security that would take centuries to break. President Nam Ki-woo stood beside her, along with Dr. Choi Min-ho and several other people who carried the weight of humanity's greatest deception. They wore simple clothing, but their faces showed the burden of knowledge that could reshape the galaxy. "Show him everything," Admiral Kim said quietly. Dr. Choi activated a holographic projector, the air filled with images that seemed impossible. Ancient star charts showing human settlements scattered across the galaxy. Architectural plans for cities that predated known history. Ship designs that looked nothing like the crude vessels aliens thought humans used. "President Nam," Dr. Choi began, "what you are about to see will change everything you believe about human civilization." First hologram showed a world called Caridian Prime. Every alien in the galaxy knew it as the ancient homeworld of the crystal beings who lived there now. But the display revealed structures buried deep beneath the crystal cities, structures that were clearly built by human hands. We established colonies on Caridian Prime 47,000 years ago, Dr. Choi explained. When the crystal beings evolved intelligence, they found our ruins and copied our architectural techniques. They think they invented those building methods themselves. More images appeared. A gas giant where jellyfish-like creatures floated in the upper atmosphere. Hidden in the planet's ring system were massive space stations, still operational but invisible to alien sensors. The Medusae species evolved in those gas clouds, Dr. Choi continued. They believe their floating cities are natural formations. They do not know that human engineers built the gravity generators that keep their world stable. President Nam stared at the evidence with growing amazement. How long have we been hiding our true nature? 53,412 years, Admiral Kim answered with precision. Since the end of the last war against the Devourers. Dr. Choi brought up new displays. These showed space battles unlike anything in recorded history. Human ships fought against creatures that seemed made of living shadow. The vessels in the images were enormous, dwarfing anything the current galaxy had ever built. The Devourers were not truly alive as we understand life, Dr. Choi explained. They existed partially outside normal space and time. They consumed matter and energy, but also the fundamental concepts that hold reality together. The battle recordings showed human fleets achieving victory, but at a terrible cost. Entire star systems were destroyed. Space itself was damaged in some regions, creating zones where the laws of physics operated differently. We won the war, Admiral Kim said, but our weapons had become too powerful. We realized we were almost as dangerous as the Devourers themselves. Our technology could destroy not just our enemies, but the basic structure of reality. President Nam moved closer to the displays. So humanity chose to withdraw from galactic affairs? We faced a choice, Dr. Choi said. We could rule through fear, using weapons that might eventually unravel existence itself. Or we could step back and guide younger species away from the same destructive path we had almost followed. New images showed human agents working throughout alien civilizations. Scientists sharing carefully selected knowledge. Diplomats preventing conflicts that could escalate beyond control. Engineers solving problems that alien species did not even realize existed. Every major technological breakthrough achieved by alien civilizations has been influenced by humanity, Admiral Kim revealed. The universal translation protocols they all use were originally developed in our laboratories. The faster-than-light communication networks that connect their worlds are based on human quantum entanglement research. Dr. Choi activated another section of the display. This showed genetic records and medical data spanning thousands of years. Several alien species exist today only because human scientists saved them from extinction. The Luminari suffered from a quantum plague 15,000 years ago. We developed the cure and delivered it through intermediaries, making them believe they had discovered it themselves. President Nam was beginning to understand the scope of humanity's deception. We have been gardeners rather than conquerors. Exactly, Admiral Kim confirmed. We planted seeds of knowledge and watched them grow into thriving civilizations. We prevented wars that could have destroyed entire species. We maintained the balance of power so no single group could dominate the others. But now the hiding is over, Dr. Choi said. Captain Lee Daeho has activated Protocol 7 in response to the Galactic Council's ultimatum. They have forced us to reveal our true nature. Admiral Kim touched a control panel. The chamber filled with new images showing fleets that had been hidden for millennia. Ships built inside hollow asteroids, bases carved into the cores of dead stars, weapons platforms disguised as natural space debris. The hidden fleet, Admiral Kim said with quiet pride. We possess more military power than all alien civilizations combined. Our ships use technologies they cannot comprehend. Our weapons can reshape the fundamental forces of nature if necessary. President Nam studied ships that stretched for kilometers. Their hulls were constructed from materials that should have been impossible to create. Their engines manipulated space and time rather than simply moving through it. Their armaments had names like Reality Stabilizer and Quantum Cascade Generator. Why conceal all of this power? President Nam asked. Dr. Choi provided the answer. Because absolute power corrupts absolutely. Because fear breeds hatred and violence. If the galaxy knew what humanity was truly capable of, every species would either try to destroy us out of terror or worship us out of desperation. Neither option would lead to a healthy galactic civilization. Admiral Kim brought up a final display showing current alien fleet movements. Hundreds of ships were positioning themselves around human space. The Galactic Council was preparing to carry out their threat of complete extermination. "They believe we are weak," Admiral Kim said. "They think our few hundred visible ships represent our entire military capability. They have convinced themselves that their superior numbers and technology guarantee easy victory." "How long before they discover the truth?" President Nam asked. "Approximately 68 hours," Dr. Choi calculated. "That is when our hidden fleets will begin emerging from concealment. When ships older than their civilizations reveal themselves. When they realize that the mysterious ancient ruins they have studied on every world they explore all bear the same identifying symbol." He pointed to a mark carved into the chamber wall. It was filled with metal that still gleamed after thousands of years. The symbol showed a stylized star with a small planet beside it, representing Earth's sun and humanity's homeworld. "They call them the precursor ruins," Admiral Kim explained. "Alien archaeologists have built entire careers studying them. They never suspected they were examining the remains of humanity's ancient empire." President Nam felt the weight of 50,000 years of secrecy pressing down on him. The decision he was about to make would end the greatest deception in galactic history. "Send the activation orders," he commanded. "Begin the revelation protocol. It is time for humanity to step out of the shadows." Admiral Kim smiled for the first time in months. "It will be good to stop pretending we are helpless." As the orders spread through secret communication channels, dormant fleets throughout the galaxy began awakening. Humans who had spent their entire lives maintaining the masquerade prepared to reveal themselves. Ancient weapon systems that had slept for millennia started their activation sequences. Soon, every alien civilization would learn that the species they had dismissed as primitive and weak were actually their teachers, their protectors, and their guides through the dangerous paths of galactic development. The young races of the galaxy were about to meet their elders. In hidden bases scattered across 1,000 star systems, the descendants of humanity's greatest warriors opened their eyes and prepared to remind the galaxy why their ancestors had once been feared and respected throughout known space. The masquerade was ending. Humanity was coming home. Fleet Admiral Bae Jong-soo opened his eyes for the first time in 17 years. The stasis chamber released him with a soft hiss of escaping gases. Around him, thousands of other pods were opening as crew members awakened from their long sleep. He stood slowly on the bridge of the Song of Earth, a warship over a kilometer long. The vessel had been constructed 40,000 years ago, but its technology remained more advanced than anything the modern galaxy possessed. For centuries, rotating skeleton crews had maintained it in perfect condition, waiting for the day when humanity might need its ancient fleet. "Admiral," said Captain Shin Yoon-ji as she approached. She commanded the Eternal Vigil and had been awake for 3 months, preparing her ship for activation. "All hidden fleets are responding to the Revelation Protocol. We are ready to emerge from concealment." Bai Jong-soo stretched muscles that were stiff from decades of chemical sleep. His mind was clear despite the long rest. He had volunteered for this duty knowing he might never see Earth again. His family had said farewell to him generations ago. "How many vessels are operational?" he asked. 732 major warships, Shin Yoon-ji reported, plus support fleets, maintenance platforms, and mobile bases. Total combat strength exceeds 3,000 units. The Admiral walked to the command center. The Song of Earth was awakening around him. Ancient systems came online with musical harmonics that followed mathematical principles unknown to modern science. Lights activated in patterns that resembled living neural networks. The ship's artificial intelligence spoke in a voice that sounded almost human. "Welcome back, Admiral," the AI said warmly. "I have maintained full operational status during your absence. All weapon systems are functional. All defensive arrays are optimal. The vessel is prepared for any mission you require." Bae Jong-soo studied the main display screen. It showed the space around their hiding place, but it was no longer empty. Dozens of massive ships were emerging from concealment throughout the star system. They had been hidden inside hollow asteroids beneath planetary surfaces, even within the blazing corona of the local star. "Status of the Eternal Vigil?" he inquired. "Online and ready for combat," Shin Yoon-ji answered through the communication system. "Chief Engineer Ko Yoo-jin reports all ancient systems are stable. The reality anchor arrays are functioning at maximum efficiency. The Eternal Vigil was among the oldest vessels in the fleet. Its hull was forged from compressed neutron matter, substances that should have been impossible to work with using any known technology. Battle scars on its armor told stories of conflicts fought against enemies that no longer existed. The ship had helped win the war against the Devourers using weapons that could reshape local space-time. Tactical Officer Han Dong-woo to all ships, came another voice over the fleet. Communication network. Long-range sensors detect alien fleets moving toward human space. They appear to be positioning for an attack against what they believe are a few hundred primitive vessels. Bai Jiangsu smiled grimly. The aliens had no understanding of what they were about to encounter. Human warships from the ancient era were not merely larger and more powerful than modern vessels. They operated on completely different principles of warfare and physics. Engineer Ko Yu-jin reporting from the technical section, came a new transmission. All ships show optimal status across all systems. The old technology is performing flawlessly. We could conduct military operations for centuries without requiring maintenance. The Admiral activated the fleet-wide communication system. His voice reached hundreds of ships scattered across dozens of star systems throughout the galaxy. Attention all vessels of the Hidden Fleet. This is Admiral Bai Jiangsu. After 50,000 years of concealment, humanity returns to open space. We emerge not as conquerors seeking dominion, but as protectors defending civilization. However, if other species choose warfare, they will learn why the ancient galaxy once trembled at the sight of human battle fleets. On his display screens, he watched other fleets responding to the call. The Terra Ascendant rose from the atmosphere of a gas giant, where it had remained hidden for millennia. The Star Guardian unfolded itself from what alien sensors had always identified as a natural asteroid cluster. The reality's edge phased back into normal space from a parallel dimension that existed alongside but separate from regular universe. Admiral, Tactical Officer Han reported, alien long-range detection systems are beginning to register our presence. I am receiving emergency signals from several species. They are attempting to identify our ship configurations, but their computers cannot process the data they are receiving. That response was predictable. Human vessels from the ancient era used design concepts that seemed impossible to younger civilizations. They existed partially outside normal spacetime, making them nearly indestructible. Their weapons drew energy directly from quantum vacuum fluctuations, providing unlimited power. Their engines folded reality instead of merely traveling through it. Captain Shin, the Admiral called. What are you detecting on your special sensors? Sir, I am registering something unexpected, she replied from the Eternal Vigil. Ancient recognition protocols buried deep in alien computer systems are activating. Identification codes that have been dormant for thousands of years are responding to our presence. Bai Jiangsu understood immediately. Long ago, when humanity had helped various species develop their technologies, they had embedded recognition systems in the basic programming. These systems were designed to identify human ships and equipment when they encountered them again. They are beginning to realize the truth, he said. The mysterious energy signatures they have been studying in ancient ruins throughout the galaxy are matching our current sensor readings. Across dozens of alien worlds, archaeologists were rushing to their laboratories. The energy patterns emanating from the approaching human fleet were identical to readings they had recorded from ruins that every species believed belonged to some unknown extinct civilization fleet. Status report, the Admiral requested. All vessels operational and ready, Han Dong-woo responded. Ancient weapon systems are online and charged. Reality anchor fields are stable at maximum strength. Quantum defensive screens are at full power. We are prepared for whatever develops. The human ships moved through space in formations that had been perfected through millennia of combat experience. They did not hurry. They made no attempt to hide their approach. After 50,000 years of secrecy, they traveled openly through the galaxy their ancestors had once protected. Sir, Engineer Ko reported, I am detecting automated responses from dormant human installations throughout the galaxy. Bases we constructed on alien worlds are awakening. Supply depots are coming online. The entire hidden infrastructure is reactivating according to ancient protocols. Bai Jiangsu nodded with satisfaction. The ancient human empire had been vast beyond current imagination. Even after choosing concealment, they had left systems in place to support their fleets if the need ever arose again. Planets that aliens considered natural formations contained human technology. Moons that appeared empty held vast storage facilities filled with equipment and supplies. Estimated time to Nexus Prime? He asked. 18 hours at current velocity, Shin Yunji answered. Increase speed to battle configuration. It is time for the Galactic Council to meet the species they believed they could threaten with impunity. As the ancient human fleet accelerated toward its destination, space itself seemed to bend around the ships. They moved faster than light without using any visible propulsion systems. They traveled between dimensions as easily as boats moving across calm water. Behind them, alien civilizations were beginning to experience panic. Their most sophisticated sensors could not fully analyze the approaching human technology. Their military experts could not understand how ships of such enormous size could move so quickly and silently through space. Most disturbing of all, their own computer systems were recognizing the human vessels. Deep within their technological foundations, protocols left by humanity's ancient teachers were awakening. The students were about to meet their masters. The ghosts of the void had stopped hiding. Humanity's true fleet was finally coming home to reclaim their rightful place among the stars. Grand Admiral Lee Sunja stood on the bridge of the Terra Ascending, watching Nexus Prime grow larger on the main viewing screen. The alien space station looked small compared to her flagship. The Terra Ascending stretched 3 kilometers from bow to stern and carried weapons capable of cracking planets if such extreme measures became necessary. Around her vessel, hundreds of other ancient human ships moved in perfect formation. Each one represented technology that the current galaxy could not understand or replicate. They had emerged from hiding places throughout the star system, revealing themselves to alien sensors for the first time in 50 millennia. Captain Oh Hyun-woo, the Grand Admiral said, "Report on alien fleet status." Confused and terrified, Captain Oh answered from his position at the tactical station. "Their combat formations have pulled back as soon as our ships appeared on their sensors. None of them want to be the first to attack vessels they cannot identify or analyze." Dr. Lim Se-byuk stepped forward from her position near the communication console. She had spent decades living among alien civilizations, studying their psychology and culture while maintaining the pretense of being a simple human scientist. Now her true purpose was finally revealed. "Grand Admiral," Dr. Lim reported, "alien communication channels are filled with panic transmissions. They are comparing our energy signatures to readings from ancient ruins found throughout the galaxy. Some of their scientists are beginning to understand the implications." Lee Sunja nodded with grim satisfaction. She represented the product of 800 generations of careful breeding and training. Her family had served in the Hidden Fleet since before most alien civilizations had discovered fire. The responsibility of revealing humanity's true nature to the galaxy rested on her shoulders. "Open a communication channel to Nexus Prime," she commanded. The main screen changed to show the interior of the Galactic Council chamber. The alien representatives sat in their specially designed seats, but their body language displayed obvious anxiety and fear. Counselor Vexithari's scales had turned pale gray, a clear sign of distress in his species. Ambassador Krindal flickered between different energy colors as his form struggled to maintain stability. "Members of the Galactic Council," Grand Admiral Lee began in a calm voice. "I am Lee Sunja, Grand Admiral of the Terran Defense Fleet. You issued an ultimatum demanding that humanity submit to your authority. We have come to deliver our response." "This is impossible," Vexthari sputtered, his voice cracking with stress. "Our sensors detect hundreds of massive vessels. Where did they come from? How did you construct them so quickly?" Lee Sunja smiled, but it was not a pleasant expression. "We did not build them quickly, Counselor. We constructed them long before your species learned to walk upright on 2 legs." Battle Coordinator Jang Mi-kyung activated a holographic display that filled the space between the human fleet and the station. It showed a timeline of galactic history, but not the version taught in alien educational institutions. 53,000 years ago, the Grand Admiral continued, humanity fought a war that nearly destroyed the entire galaxy. Our enemies were entities called Devourers. They consumed not just matter and energy, but the fundamental concepts that hold reality together. The hologram displayed images of that ancient conflict, human fleets battling against creatures that resembled living shadows, weapons that bent space and time like clay, battles that occurred simultaneously in multiple dimensions. "We achieved victory in that war," Lee Sunja said. But the experience taught us something crucial. Our weapons had become so powerful that using them risked destroying the very fabric of existence. We faced a choice that would determine the future of all galactic civilization. Dr. Lim Sabyok stepped forward to address the Council directly. We could have ruled the galaxy through fear and intimidation. We could have forced every species to bow before our superior technology. Instead, we chose a different path entirely. New images appeared in the holographic display. They showed human agents working throughout primitive alien civilizations, scientists sharing knowledge with developing species, engineers solving problems that young civilizations could not handle alone, diplomats preventing wars that could have destroyed entire worlds. For 50,000 years, Dr. Lim continued, humanity has been your guardian, your teacher, and your protector. Every major technological advancement your species have achieved was guided by human knowledge and wisdom. The alien council members stared at the evidence in growing shock. The images showed human influence in their own historical development. The invention of faster-than-light travel, the creation of universal translation systems, the establishment of the Galactic Council itself. The translation protocols you use to communicate with each other, Battle Coordinator Zhang explained, were originally developed in human laboratories. We embedded them in your early computer systems and allowed you to believe you had invented them. Your faster-than-light communication networks, Dr. Lim added, are based on quantum entanglement principles that humans discovered 40,000 years ago. We shared the knowledge gradually, ensuring each species thought they had developed it independently. Counselor Vexithari found his voice, though it shook with emotion. Prove these claims. Show us evidence that cannot be fabricated or falsified. Captain Oh Hyan Wu smiled with obvious anticipation. As you wish, Counselor. He activated a control sequence that accessed protocols built into Nexus Prime's foundation systems. Ancient administrative codes buried deep in the station's computer core suddenly came online. Security systems that had been dormant for millennia began responding to human commands. The lights in the council chamber changed color and intensity. The artificial gravity fluctuated slightly, causing several aliens to grab their seats for stability. Communication systems started displaying text in an ancient human language that predated any known alien writing system. Every major space station and starship in the galaxy, Captain O explained calmly, contains human administrative access codes. We designed the basic operating systems your civilizations still use today. We simply concealed our control privileges very carefully. Ambassador Krindal's energy form pulsed rapidly, indicating extreme emotional distress. But why hide this from us? Why pretend to be weak and primitive? Why maintain such an elaborate deception? Grand Admiral Lee's expression became serious and thoughtful. Because absolute power corrupts even the best intentions. Because knowledge can be dangerous when it comes too quickly. Because we learned from our war with the Devourers that some things are more important than conquest and domination. Dr. Lim activated another section of the holographic display. It showed recent galactic history from humanity's hidden perspective. Secret interventions that prevented devastating wars. Diseases cured by mysterious anonymous benefactors. Natural disasters that were stopped by equipment that appeared without explanation. The quantum plague that almost destroyed the Luminari 15,000 years ago, she explained. Human scientists developed the cure and delivered it through intermediaries who never knew its true origin. The asteroid that would have wiped out the Saurian homeworld 8,000 years ago, Battle Coordinator Zhang added. Human engineers diverted it using gravity manipulation technology. The civil war that nearly destroyed the Crystal Civilization, Captain O continued. Human diplomats working behind the scenes arranged the peace treaty that saved both sides. Each revelation struck the alien council like a physical blow. Their greatest achievements, their proudest moments of survival, their very existence as thriving civilizations, all of it had been guided by the species they had just threatened to exterminate. We made mistakes along the way, Grand Admiral Lee admitted honestly. We became too protective, too controlling of your development. Some of your species needed to face challenges independently to grow properly. We began pulling back, allowing you to develop with less direct intervention. That is why we permitted you to believe we were weak, Dr. Lim explained. We wanted you to mature as civilizations, to learn cooperation without constant guidance. The Galactic Council was our attempt to let you govern yourselves. Vexithari's voice was barely audible, and we failed completely. We tried to conquer our own teachers. You have not failed, Grand Admiral Lee corrected gently. You are still learning and growing. All species experience periods of aggression and territorial expansion. What matters is what you choose to do next. Captain O brought up a final display showing current alien fleet positions around human space. Hundreds of ships remained ready for battle. You face a choice, the Grand Admiral said. You can attack us and learn why the ancient galaxy once feared human military power. Or you can accept that humanity has never been your enemy. We never were. The council chamber fell silent for a long moment. Then Ambassador Crindle spoke in a subdued voice. What do you want from us now? Nothing you were not already trying to build, Lee Sunja answered. A peaceful galaxy where different species can coexist and grow together. The difference is that now you know you are not alone in wanting this goal. Battle Coordinator. Jiang's expression suddenly became grave. Besides, you are going to need our help very soon. Our deep space sensors have detected something approaching the galaxy. Something we hoped never to encounter. Sentinel Commander Ryu Jae-wan stood in the deepest vault of humanity's most classified facility. The chamber was carved from a single piece of crystallized space-time, materials that existed only under the most extreme conditions imaginable. Around him, holographic displays showed information classified at levels beyond the understanding of most humans. Captain Song Ye-jin had just returned from a reconnaissance mission to the galaxy's outer edge. Her ship, the Far Watcher, was specially designed to operate in dangerous regions where normal space began breaking down. Strategic analyst Park Tae-hoon stood beside ancient computers holding records of the First Devourer War. Show me what you discovered, Commander Ryu ordered with quiet urgency. Captain Song activated her ship's sensor recordings. The holographic display filled with images that made everyone in the room feel cold fear. Dark shapes moved through space, but they were not entirely real. They existed partially outside normal dimensions, making them nearly impossible to track or fully understand. Devourer scout formations, Captain Song reported with barely controlled tension. They are testing the barrier systems we constructed at the galaxy's edge 50,000 years ago. The energy screens that have kept them in exile are beginning to weaken. Commander Ryu had hoped never to see such images again. He was one of the few humans old enough to remember the original war. Life extension technology had kept him alive for over 800 years, most of it spent guarding humanity's darkest secrets. How many scout groups have you detected? He asked. At least 40 separate formations, Captain Song answered grimly. But that is not the most disturbing discovery. They have changed significantly, evolved. These are not the same creatures we fought in the ancient war. Strategic analyst Park brought up comparative data from the historical conflict. The original Devourers had been terrifying, but relatively straightforward in their approach. They consumed matter and energy directly, leaving empty void behind them. The new scout forms showed more sophisticated behavior patterns. They have learned to manipulate younger civilizations, Park explained with growing alarm. Instead of simply destroying everything in their path, they are using alien species as unwitting tools, making them weaken reality's fundamental structure from within. Commander Ryu studied the data with mounting horror. The Devourers had become more subtle, more intelligent, and infinitely more dangerous during their long exile. Explain this manipulation process, he ordered. Park activated a new display showing recent galactic events that had seemed unrelated when they occurred. Computer system failures throughout alien networks, strange energy readings from mining operations on distant worlds, unexplained accidents at research facilities studying dimensional physics. Each of these incidents weakened the boundaries between dimensions, Park said. Individually, they appeared to be random accidents or equipment failures. Together, they form a deliberate pattern. The Devourers have been preparing the galaxy for their return. Captain Song added her own observations from the reconnaissance mission. The scout forms I detected were following specific routes through space. Not random exploration patterns. They know exactly where to strike to cause maximum damage to reality's structural integrity. Admiral Cho In-sung entered the chamber with slow, careful steps. His age showed despite the life extension treatments that had kept him alive for over 1,000 years. He was the oldest human in existence, one of the original commanders from the Devourer War. His presence meant the situation was more serious than anyone had initially realized. Commander Ryu, Admiral Cho said in a voice that carried the weight of centuries. I have reviewed Captain Song's reports and analyzed the data. We are facing a crisis that makes the original war appear simple by comparison. The ancient admiral activated displays showing the galaxy's current state. Energy readings, dimensional stability measurements, quantum field fluctuations, all of them revealed the same disturbing pattern. The Devourers spent 50,000 years in exile beyond our galaxy, Admiral Cho explained. They used that time to study our defensive methods, to learn how we defeated them previously. They are not repeating the same tactical mistakes. Commander Ryu felt dread that had nothing to do with the chamber's cold temperature. What are you telling me? They are not attempting to break through our barrier systems by brute force, the Admiral continued. Instead, they are corrupting the galaxy from within, using alien civilizations to weaken the foundations of reality itself, making our defenses irrelevant. Strategic Analyst Park brought up a new set of data. This showed the locations of recent Devourer activity overlaid with current alien military positions throughout the galaxy. The species gathering to attack humanity, Park said with growing understanding. Their fleet formations are following the exact patterns needed to create dimensional instabilities. They believe they are planning a conventional military campaign. In reality, they are being manipulated into opening doorways for the Devourers. Captain Song understood the implications immediately. The Galactic Council's ultimatum to humanity was not entirely their own idea. The Devourers influenced them to create a conflict that would weaken our defensive systems. Admiral Cho nodded with grim confirmation. If alien fleets attack our hidden bases, they will damage the reality anchor systems we have maintained for millennia. If we defend ourselves using our most powerful weapons, we risk tearing holes in space-time itself. Either way, the Devourers achieved their goal. Commander Ryu studied the tactical situation with growing despair. Humanity faced an impossible choice. They could allow alien fleets to destroy the systems that kept reality stable throughout the galaxy, or they could use weapons that might damage the universe they were trying to protect. What about the Revelation Protocol? He asked. Now that our fleets are visible to alien sensors, can we explain the danger to their governments? We are attempting to do so, Admiral Cho answered. But the Devourer influence runs deeper than we initially understood. Many alien leaders refuse to believe our warnings. They think we are inventing external threats to justify our military superiority. Strategic Analyst Park activated another display. This one showed projected Devourer advancement patterns based on current galactic conditions. If they succeed in creating major dimensional instabilities, Park explained, the main Devourer force will be able to enter our galaxy within 6 standard months. Once they establish a permanent foothold here, they will begin consuming not just matter and energy, but the fundamental concepts that hold existence together. Captain Song had observed the scout forms up close through her ship's sensors. She understood what that meant better than anyone else in the room. They do not merely destroy planets or star systems, she said quietly. They unmake them completely. Erase them from reality so thoroughly that they never existed at all. Eventually, they would consume the entire galaxy, leaving behind absolute nothingness. Admiral Cho brought up the final piece of critical data. Human fleet positions throughout the galaxy. The ancient ships were powerful beyond current imagination, but they were scattered across thousands of star systems. Many were still emerging from hiding after 50,000 years of dormancy. We possess advantages the Devourers do not expect, the Admiral said. Our ships have been upgraded with technology developed during their exile. Our reality anchor systems are stronger than before. Our weapons are more precise and controllable. But will our advantages be sufficient? Commander Ryu asked. Not if we fight alone, Admiral Cho admitted honestly. The galaxy has changed dramatically since the original war. There are more civilizations now, more complexity, more variables to consider. We need allies if we hope to succeed. Strategic Analyst Park highlighted the current diplomatic situation. Human fleets were approaching Nexus Prime, where the Galactic Council was still struggling to understand what humanity really represented. Grand Admiral Lee Sunja is attempting to forge a military alliance, Park reported. If she succeeds in convincing the alien civilizations to cooperate, we might be able to coordinate a galaxy-wide defense. Captain Song looked skeptical about alien capabilities. Can primitive species really help against the Devourers? Their technology is thousands of years behind what we faced in the original war. Their technology is primitive, Admiral Cho agreed, but their perspectives are completely different from ours. In the original war, humanity fought alone using our own methods and strategies. We developed weapons of incredible power, but we also developed significant blind spots in our thinking. Perhaps fresh viewpoints will help us see solutions we missed before. Commander Ryu made his decision. The time for complete secrecy was ending, but the time for desperate action was beginning. Signal all hidden facilities throughout the galaxy, he ordered. Begin full activation protocols immediately. Prepare every ship, every weapon, every defense system we possess. And the alien civilizations? Strategic Analyst Park asked. We give them one final chance to choose their fate, Commander Ryu answered. They can join us in defending reality itself, or they can continue serving as unknowing tools of the Devourers. Admiral Cho added a final warning that chilled everyone present. But whether they help us or continue to oppose us, we must be preppy.